Thank you, Mr. President and colleagues. I'd like to talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, if you will, that being the influence of the mayoral politics, and specifically that of the Gavin Newsom campaign in this year's budget. Colleagues, you recall that, colleagues, I know that this is not going to be comfortable, and I didn't come here to the Board of Supervisors to make colleagues comfortable. I think it was Victor Miller from the New Mission News who wrote under the banner that we are to comfort the afflicted while we afflict the comfortable. And I'll take the banner from the old New Mission News and the late, great Victor Miller, and I will afflict the comfortable, even though I guess it's not collegial. The basic needs of those who rely on the services we provide. Before voting on the budget, I ask a few simple questions. Should we be sinking new dollars into roads increasingly traveled by SUVs instead of building more affordable housing for families, for working class families who would otherwise be forced out of the city? Should we appropriate new monies for quality of life court while closing our only 24-hour Center for Homeless People? Should we be hiring additional police officers while we are firing public health nurses? The answer should be crystal clear to any San Francisco progressive. I hope you, my colleagues, stand up to Newsom's bullies and stand up for progressive San Francisco values. The monies that came from the Broadway tunnel, I guess, could go back to the Broadway tunnel, as we would have other sources. I think that probably would cover the corrections. If the controller was following that, I don't know. I'll make that as a motion.
There is a motion made by Supervisor Daly. Is there a second for that motion? And it appears to die for lack of a second, but if I can...
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, let's be honest about what happened and what didn't happen in this budget process. There was enormous pressure placed on members of this board. It was generated mostly from Newsom's reelection campaign, which is, I think, illegal. With that said, regardless of where it came from, colleagues, or its political motivation, there was pressure placed on this board. Supervisor Peskin acquiesced to that pressure, and that's fine. Some people engage in this job from looking to sort of navigate treacherous waters with least possible political damage. Other people are here for principle, and that's what I stand on. And I'm comfortable moving forward as long as you'll have me. This is a law and order budget, and some of y'all like that. I don't. So I'm probably going to vote against it. You're going to vote for it. That's fine. I would make a motion that we reduce $700,000 from the police department. I guess we'll probably have to re-queue or delay hiring or an academy chronic care public health nurses. $700,000 would move. The source be a $700,000 reduction from the police department. The recommended way to do that would be a delayed class.
Motion made by Supervisor Daly. Is there a second for that motion?
So without a second, colleagues, let me say this. You're okay by not seconding this motion, each and every one of you. That's all 10. And if this is okay with you and this is the direction you want to take San Francisco, this is fine. But we have the opportunity right now to say, let's delay the hiring of new police officers and stop the firing of public health nurses. That's the opportunity. That's the motion. I'm looking for a second to recruit for those positions. Remake my motion to delay the hiring of police officers to the amount of $700,000 to restore the positions in the Department of Public Health for chronic care public health nurses. This is a simple motion, colleagues, and if I can't get a second on this motion, then I might as well sit down and vote no and go do something else that perhaps is more productive than engaging with you 10 colleagues.
Motion made by Supervisor Daly dies for lack of a second on.
Love is a city that looks out for the most vulnerable first, and what we have in front of us, colleagues, is a document that does not do that. What we have is a document that is a Monty Hall budget when we should be passing a Robin Hood budget. And then there are some of us colleagues who I think are afraid of the political response. I think there are some of us who are afraid to stand up and deliver in the face of adversity. I think there are some of us who would rather be under our desks than standing here and delivering over a microphone. And I challenge you, colleagues, and I challenge you to find resolve, to find the courage of your convictions, to stand and deliver and to do the right thing, and to embrace San Francisco values, because what we've seen here in the previous months is disappointment after disappointment as we test the political winds and find that they're blowing in a direction against diversity. The political winds are blowing in a direction that is decidedly un-San Francisco, and I don't want a part of it.